Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Gals Off the Grid. We have such a beautiful soul on the podcast today. One of our dear, dear friends is with us, and her work is so profound. I'm always like, this is easy stuff. Like when I tell you about it, it's like, oh, I have those laying around the house. Okay, yeah, if I smell this, it'll work. I feel better when I smell lavender and it calms me down. Oh, no. Oh, no. Kristen's work is so transformational. Valentine and I both have been blessed to work with her, have sessions with her, and they have significantly changed our lives. I'm just going to leave it there and mention that. Let me tell you a little bit about Kristen. Kristen Maple is a liberated guide, intuitive teacher, and the creator of Finding Freedom, a sacred online mastermind for creatives ready to reclaim their truth, remember their worth, and rise into soul-led freedom. As a certified Aroma Freedom practitioner and Ka method facilitator, Kristen blends the science of subconscious rewiring with the soul of emotional alchemy. Using the power of essential oils and the body's innate wisdom, she helps dissolve inner blocks through scent-based healing, internal family systems (IFS), inner child work, emotion code release, and somatic nervous system regulation. Her work gently peels back the stories and survival roles that were never truly yours, so you can finally embody the voice you came here to speak. This conversation is truly a living expression of our mind-body root, our 6 pillars of Gals Off the Grid, one of the core foundations of what this community talks about. It's a reminder that healing begins not just by doing, but in the deep remembering, in trusting the wisdom of the body and letting your soul lead you back to your light. That is always what we're talking about. And as we do the work on ourselves, I'm really understanding and seeing more and more the healing that I'm going through. And I'm in a place in my life where I'm like, this is fun because I'm seeing, yes, I'm going through the shit, but I'm seeing the transformation. I can really wow, where I was last year, where I am today, what I'm more aware of. It's unbelievable. It's so awesome. And when we dive into Kristen's interview, you're going to feel that and see the importance of essential oils and how that really activates your mind body, your mind soul, your soul body. It's amazing. It's a huge shift. So I'll stop talking now. Let's get to the episode. I'm so excited for you to experience Kristen Maple. Welcome to the Gals Off the Grid podcast, a sacred community your soul has been craving. We blend community, ancient wisdom, modern science, and the healing rhythms of Mother Earth. We cut through the noise of the modern world and guide you towards an effortlessly soul-aligned, wildly free life. We're your hosts, Susan Singer and Valentina Bain. Let's dig into our roots and go off the grid together. We just need to set the tone of what we're experiencing right now because Valentina and I are together, and then we're with one of our best friends, Kristen, and we have our coffee, and it's just so awesome to be able to do this and just start having this conversation. And we're just bringing in the element of such joy and love with our friendship while we're also embodying the feeling of how we're healing with mind and body. And that's why we're so happy to have Kristen here. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. And I just had this revelation as you were sharing, and I know we've talked about it all before, but through doing the work that we've all been doing over these years, like how we brought each other into our lives and we're in this place of healing and connection, and what beautiful gifts that you guys are because of the work that we've done internally. And it's just such a blessing.
Yes.
Oh, I tell you guys all the time, and we all say that. I manifested you. I've been waiting on you my whole life.
You're here. Yes, you can find your besties in your 40s.
Yes, we are proof of that. And we are 10-year-old little girls when we get together. Definitely cozy bestie vibes.
And if you guys get the chance to hear Kristen's laugh, her real big laugh, it just warms your heart.
So joyful.
It's the best.
We all get a peek of it. Yeah. Thank you, honey.
Probably. We always laugh.
So let's just get into the story. I think it's so important for you to tell your story of how you got to where you are now with the work that you do, because it truly changed your trajectory of your life, and it really healed you from what you have told me. So share away.
Yeah, I just want to add before you jump into that, that it's also changed my life. I know you've
Yes.
experienced her work. Our community has experienced your work a couple of times, but it is profound what you can guide people through in 30 minutes or even shorter. I think we have a 10-minute in the community that you guide people through. It is like life-changing. So yeah, this is not just your story. Like you crush it. So I can't wait for you to
I got the
share.
chills.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's so
is.
true.
It is amazing.
Okay, go.
All right, where do I start? Should I start with my like where I started from or what I do?
I
You want to
think
hear what I do first?
first explain just what it is that you do, and then go back when you were young and your whole
Like how
experience.
you got into doing
Yeah.
it.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for having me. I love you both dearly so much. And I'm so thankful to hear and happy to hear. I love hearing that it's impacted you and it's why I do it. I'm a certified aroma freedom practitioner. I am also a background in IFS and now recently being certified in calm method, which is more energy healing. The method that I work primarily with is called Aroma Freedom, which was designed by Dr. Benjamin Purkis. He was a psychologist who specialized in EMDR and trauma therapy, and he had found that your sense of smell was incredibly powerful and was seeing this transformation in his clients doing this technique that he eventually developed and started training other practitioners in called AFT now. But he would use that and he found the results were far surpassing the results he was getting from patients who were doing just EMDR trauma work. And then he put this into a technique and then trained other practitioners. And then now I think it's fairly new technique, about 4 or 5, no, not 5. It's longer than that, actually, because I've been out here 5. So it's about 6 years old now. And it's just powerful. Like it's transformed, like Valentina said, it's transformed my life in such a beautiful way. I can get into the science of all that and why it works in a minute, but I guess I'll share my story and how.
Yeah, also though, tell us what IFS is, because people probably don't know what IFS and the other method, the
Yeah.
energy method you talked about.
Okay, yeah. So IFS is internal family systems, and it's basically working with inner child and then parts of ourselves, which Dr. Benjamin Schwartz developed. And it's just basically saying that we have different parts, which in AFT is, I guess you can call them like pain bodies or stories or things that we have to, if something traumatic has happened to us in our life or in our childhood, we have to form this persona for safety. Okay, I have to be the good, quiet girl. And then I have to be more loud and boisterous to protect myself. So in IFS, it talks about these parts that we have developed and created. And so it's tapping into those parts and connecting to those parts, those specific parts of us who have created these alter personalities that are basically different than what our soul, our truth, and our authentic nature is, if that makes sense. It gets a little woo-woo, but it's really powerful.
That's
So I incorporate the two of like inner child work connecting to the certain parts of ourselves. So like the younger part, there's like a middle part. We're multifaceted with multiple parts in our personalities and our energy that ultimately design our personality and our makeup and how we show up in the world.
amazing. What about the other method? I know you're just working through that, going to Ireland this summer, but tell us about this energy method. Kali, you
Yeah,
said.
so Kaw method it's
What is it?
honestly something it's called Kaw method. It's just recently developed as a method. Like she got it certified as a method, but it's pretty powerful. It's energy work, but it's working with the tree of life, like energy, dantians. It's stuff that I can't really conceptualize even verbally sharing it. It's one of those things that you have to like go through the transmission of it. But in doing the work, you just get more attuned to we all have these abilities, right? Like these abilities to sense and to be intuitive and to tap into a power that we are created to tap into or access. So it's basically helping you tap into those higher frequencies of power and energy.
Sounds amazing. I love
Yeah,
that.
me too.
God, I want to get certified in that. C
Yeah.
O C O M, com. How do you spell
What's
it? How do you spell
Ka?
ka?
K-A. It's
Oh,
yeah,
Oh, I
oh,
have heard,
ka
oh,
method.
maybe I have heard of call, but there's so many methods and ways, iterations of passed down wisdom through coming through people and through their elders and through their
Yeah.
ancestral lines. It's really
yeah.
cool, but I can't
Yeah,
wait.
and her background, it's Kali. Her background is she has a whole line of stuff, but like shamanism, and so it's very like shamanistic energy and healing modalities that she was channeled and then she teaches.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tell us how you got into why you got into this work and what it did for you, your story.
I think like any of us, there for me, it's just like that soul journey of highs and lows and hitting those bottoms. For me, it started in my early 20s. I think it started at birth, like you're born into a family that's like your training ground and then you go through all this stuff. But my hit my rock bottom where I actually started like awakening to something else needed to shift was in my early 20s. I grew up in an alcoholic home. My mom started getting sober in my early 20s, and I started seeing the transformation in her, like what inner work and like mind body, like internal, external work was doing for her life. And was like that little seed of maybe I could be doing something else. And that my early 20s, I was in LA, I was an actor, and this like really powerful agent was representing me and a really powerful manager. And they represented A-listers in Hollywood. And I remember them calling me into their office and saying to me, like, are you ready for your life to blow up? And they're like, you're going to be a star. You have all the whatever things. And I remember like at the time, I didn't know like anything about any of the things, like anything about mind work, anything about like subconscious healing, nervous system work, like all of it. And I had no foundation. That comment and that thought of, oh my God, my life is going to blow up on an internal nervous system level, literally, I felt like I literally internally blew my life up because I couldn't hold it. It was just so much. I see it now looking back, but in the moment, it was like I freaked out and self-sabotage. Like I would freeze and all my talents and all my abilities that I knew that knew how to do and use, I just froze and I went into this eating disorder. It was really scary. I was stuck on the couch, debilitated, so nervous, like to just show up in life. And so that sent me on this spiral, basically just dropped out of all of it. I stopped doing it because I can't do this anymore. It was too much for me. And then that got me on a path of inner healing. So I started 12-step work. I started hypnotherapy to help me with my eating disorder. That was really powerful and helped me like completely eliminate that out of my life, which was like shocking. And so that was my first snippet into, oh my gosh, like our mind is really powerful. So that was like the first breadcrumb of truth for me. And then it just sent this ripple effect like anybody. You find one thing and you're like, oh my gosh, let me have more. And you're just like, give me all the things. And continued with 12-step work, continued with hypnotherapy a little bit. And then I stopped because I just, for whatever reason, stopped doing it. And then when I had children, it opened up this whole other element of needing help and support because I was literally, again, found myself floundering and in so much anxiety and overwhelm and emotions and exhaustion. And that led to a severe panic disorder. I thought I was like going to die. And I went to this acupuncturist and he was very helpful. And then I ended up meeting this woman who had 6 children. I saw her at an ice cream shop and she had 6 kids and she was managing them all. She was fully peaceful. And meanwhile, I was like hair everywhere. I don't even know if I brushed my teeth that day. Like I was just a hot mess. And I only had 2. And I just asked her, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you function with 6? She had like babies and then bigger ones. And she was sharing a few things. And then she said to me, have you ever tried essential oils? And I said, no. And she said, those have really helped ground me and balance my energy, like more than anything. And so I was like, okay, I'll try. Because I was telling her I was having anxiety and panic attacks and stuff. And we got deep, clearly.
Mm.
And so I went to her house. She shared these oils with me. And that's just the oils alone eliminated my anxiety and my panic attacks. And like to this day, I never have had one since because I know what to do and how to use them now. So then that sends another breadcrumb of a trail of, oh my gosh, what are these oils? What else can they do? And it opened me up to this beautiful community of all these women in education. And there were calls. There was a call that we were invited to doing Aroma Freedom. And I didn't know what it was at the time, but I'm like, this sounds cool. It was like personal development and overcoming blocks and limiting beliefs. And I was like, yes, please give me that. And so I jumped on this call and it was just, I still remember it like as clear as day. It was so powerful. And I like watched this woman, it was on a Zoom, and I watched her completely transform in front of my eyes. Like she was in so much self-doubt and fear and emotions, and you could just see it in her, like in the way she was like speaking, in the way she was, her energy, all of it was just like transformed from beginning to the end of the session. By the end of the session, she was like fully, I can do this, felt so excited. And her energy shifted, her aura shifted, like not just her mind. It was like her spirit shifted and opened to something bigger. And in the moment, I was like, I have got to learn how to do this. Sign me up right now. So then I did. I signed up. Like, it's one of those things that you just know you have to do. And I signed up for the teacher training right away, started doing the work, and I thought I had done like some deep healing work because I at this point I had already spent it was already almost like 15 years of 12-step program and going deep and doing all this work, and I would do it religiously. And when I started doing AFT, I was like, I thought this was, I had no idea that I still had these and these and these. And it went even deeper. And it was like, really, that's when I really started seeing my life shift and started seeing just things around me shifting. Like I manifested this beautiful place. Like when I started like really clearing out the internal stuff, my external started showing up so differently. And it was just, it was powerful. Anyway, so that's where I am now. And then from that technique, I studied with her for several years and have been training for a year. I think it's since it started. That was the very beginning. That was like when he first introduced it. And then now then I fell into IFS, same thing, like finding another tool. And that was helping me incorporate with AFT and go even deeper because I was able to, with AFT, going into these parts, connect to these other parts and it all pieced together. So it's just more breadcrumbs, but that's where I am today.
Thank you for sharing. You make it so, I want to know more. I can't wait to hear more. And I know everyone is listening is give me more. But first, what stuck out when you went to that woman's house with the 6 children and she gave you essential oils to stop the anxiety, which essential oils were those?
So she just at that time gave me frankincense and stress away, which is so funny because ironically, those are like the base tools that I often will use in AFT. But frankincense and stress away. And then I also had a book and like it was called the Reference Guide for Essential Oils. And you could basically look up any ailment that you're struggling with and pull up things that you need. So I found through that Panaway, which is it has helichrysum in it, which is really like a grounding oil. But honestly, I don't know about any oil, but those were the oils I use. But now I use Panaway. So if I ever did get into an anxiety or panic attack, I would put a drop of Panaway in my left palm, and then I would put pressure on my left palm where your heart center is, and I would just breathe in, take deep cleansing breaths. And the energy of the oils, which I'll get into a little bit later, but just how like the molecules work with our body, it was just like a calming balm, and it grounded me, and I never struggle with it anymore. So
That's
So
profound.
profound. I know. Can you get into, before we move deeper, I think it's important to understand what essential oils are because clearly a lot of people know the surface level, but the fact that it's so profound and it can shift so much of energy, what is it? Like what
And also
actually,
like the quality differences because
yeah.
there's a $7 essential oil like down the street. Like even Walgreens probably has essential oils now or Amazon, all these brands, but there's a difference I've learned from you. So I think that's important for people to understand.
yeah. So the first question of what are essential oils? They're basically the molecular structure of a plant extracted and it's distilled. Quality is so important. So with Young Living, which is what I use, they're the world leader in essential oils. They will not plant on any soil that has not been organic for less than 50 years. There's an incredible like seed to seal quality and purity. A lot of essential oils, especially the ones that you see on the counters, have fillers and agents in them. They like there's no regulation. So they can say an essential oil is 100% pure as long as 5% of the oil that's in it is pure, but the rest can be like 80, 90% like oils and fillers or fragrances or anything. You can put anything in those. So it's really important, especially with this work when you're working with the blood-brain barrier, because one drop of essential oil passes the blood-brain barrier within 20 seconds. So that's why we're able to access the amygdala, the part of the brain where all these memories and traumas are stored, and release them very easily because with the help of the oils. So you want to make sure that it's the purest and most therapeutic grade that you can find. And I found that Young Living does that for me.
That's profound that you can unlock that. And I've experienced it, but I'm just wondering how, and I ask this question a lot in the world that I work in, right? How is this not something every household knows about? Because, like, when you experience how profoundly you can shift a memory, because walk them through what that's like. Talking a little bit about aroma freedom, because I've done several sessions with you and it is just like mind blowing when you experience it. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure, yeah. So in a session, what you're basically doing is getting clear on what it is that you want or what you want to step into, whether it's having a closer relationship with your children or stepping into a dream or a goal or just doing a menial task. Like for me, one of my biggest things was being able to get tech done because it's like drives me nuts. And so energetically, like I had to clear some blocks that are preventing me from creating a website. So whatever goal that you have, you will come to the work with that intention. And we say the intention. And when you say it, there are certain questions or cues that I ask that help you find where you're blocked or where you're limited in your body and your mind. And what the oils help to do is once you pull it up in your body and your mind, we also oftentimes tap into a memory, and you'll very instinctually know with the specific steps that I'm guiding you through. It's just like intuition, just what's the next one, what's the next one, and it's always accurate. And it sometimes will take you places, as I'm sure you've experienced, Valentina. You're like, why did it just take me there? But we're going with it. And then you're, oh my gosh. And at the end, you realize, but it's something that you could never logically, like even sit and journal or have a journal question or a prompt of what is this? It's not intellectual. It truly is like everything you guys stand for, but it truly is mind, body, and then spirit, like even energy around. So when you're stepping or tapping into that, what the oils are doing, they're basically the exact molecular structure and makeup of a plant, and your body as a plant, but then the plant is also the exact molecular structure of our own blood. So we have the same like structure and imprinting. So when we are inhaling this oil, our body is recognizing it as almost ourselves. And so it's able to access every cell within our being. It's almost like it has no gatekeeping. It's just like it goes. And so when you're breathing into a memory or a block that we've discovered through the quick questions, you're breathing that in. And let's say there's a memory of something that wasn't very pleasant. In breathing in the oils, what it's doing is it's actually calming the amygdala, that fight or flight response of feeling like, oh gosh, I can't go near that. That's too painful. And it's helping you get your power back. So you're basically facing, instead of running from a lion or running from something, you're standing in it. And what the oils are doing is it's telling your brain and your nervous system and that fight or flight response, I'm safe. I'm smelling this beautiful oil. The oil is working in as like a calming balm to your entire nervous system, and it's calming it. And then in that restructuring, which you're literally doing, you're restructuring your cells, you're restructuring your mind, you're restructuring the energy. In that restructuring, the fear loses the power, and it dissolves and dissipates, and then you're free in a long, short
I've
version.
experienced that firsthand. There are so many examples I could give, but like the one that comes to my mind that would be really clear for people is I was prepping for a speaking engagement and I couldn't prep. Every time I was going to prep, my mind was jumping and everything was just making it so difficult. And we did a session and I was like, I know this is silly, but I remember going in because you and I spoke after I spoke live at an event, and you were like, how did it go? And I was like, oh my gosh, I had no ounce of nervousness before and during. Like I could access, because part of my issue is when I felt stressed is I was leaving, I wasn't connected to the information that I needed. I didn't have access to that part of my brain that was like grounded and knew what I wanted to say. And it was just like, no, it was like I couldn't find it. I'm like, if I get triggered while I'm speaking, and that was the fear, but there was so much depth to it, but it was like that one session, that one day unlocked all of that. And since I've had no issue, like I'm even excited by it. So it's like crazy how much freedom, true freedom you can find from the things that are holding you back to do what you know in your heart and within your purpose that you want to do. But like your body is, it's not safe. Like you with acting, like it's just not safe. And then you sabotage. And then years later, you find yourself living a life that doesn't even reflect who you are or what we just were talking about that.
Yeah. And that's truly what it did. And looking back, like there was nothing, there was absolutely no way I could have ever done that career and gone down that path because I had zero tools. Today, I could absolutely do it in a second. But during that time, it just shows we're all wired differently. Some people, they don't have conditioning, negative conditioning around being in front of people or speaking, or if they do, there's different parts of them or different stories and beliefs that they're holding on that fit whatever they're showing up for or allows them to show up for it. And we all really truly can show up for anything we want to do. It's just a matter of whether we believe it or not. And then there's what's so wonderful is that we can actually literally change our beliefs. And not just our beliefs, but I think it's deeper than the beliefs. I feel like it's the beliefs, but it's also like the it's in our bodies because this work is body, like you said, mind, body. Like we do go into the body. Like where is it stored in the body? Where are you feeling it in your body? So it's not just a mindset, it's the whole thing.
And I think it's so important to hear that because everything can be in our mind and you get frustrated with yourself. Like, why isn't this working? Why can't I do this? Like, why is this a pattern? Why is this always coming up? It doesn't feel like me. It could be ancestral. So we're also releasing the energy in our body that might not have even been part of who we are that's been holding us back. So I think a lot of it is we always hear it's not in the mind, it's subconscious, it's in your body. And it's like it so works together. The work, how you take people through both of it, the mind and the body, is so, I think that's the biggest thing that's healing because you can sit there and do something that is, okay, I'm relaxing my body, I'm relaxing my nervous system, but you still have these thoughts. So usually, I guess it usually, like while you're new to this process, you're feeling it's disconnected because, okay, my body feels good, but I still have this story in my head. So how do
Mhm.
I get that story out of my head?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also love that you integrate the other things because it's not just the aroma, right? You're doing, like you said, the family system. So then you can go deeper into the things that are stored in the body and in the mind that they're really separate because the nervous system really connects it all. But that it's like diving into those other pieces take it so much deeper than just that one feeling or that one experience that got stored and is triggering the stress response center. But it's, oh, okay, this is like an actual, like you were saying, ancestral family pattern or the parts work part of it. Like that just fascinates me because I've never had an aroma freedom session with someone who doesn't integrate all of that. So for me, it's just you. It's all your magic wrapped up into whatever it is. It's just so good.
How many sessions does someone typically need for it to really be released out of their body?
Ooh, this is such a good question. Okay, so I love this because it's so varying. And but I have a story, I have multiple stories where literally it was one session. So it depends on what you're working on. In your session, I don't know that I've ever gone through a session where they didn't have a dramatic shift in that session with the specific thing you're working on. So we have to be very specific in the technique that we're choosing or stepping in, like whatever we're going to be working on that day.
It could be like one session is a shot.
Okay, yes. So it can be one session and like we have all these different areas. So like with Valentina, like it was her speaking and being able to speak. So she did that. It cleared it right then for her. Like she was ready to go. She didn't have to do multiple sessions to have that effect in that area of her life. So it's basically you can do as many or as little as you want. It's just what area of your life do you want to work on? So for example, I had a friend, she came to an event of mine that I was doing on the beach. She came with, I'm just going to show up to support my friend. This is fun, whatever. She came to support me. We were all on a beach and I asked them, what is the one thing that is on your heart that you've been dying to do, but you keep telling yourself you're not good enough or you can't, you keep putting it off for some reason. And this thing came up that she had been dreaming about wanting to do for 10 years plus, which was make an album. She's a musician playing music. And she was too scared to do it. She was too scared to put herself out there. So she came to the session. She's like, all right, I guess I'll work on that because that's just what came up. I said, do the first thing that comes to your mind. So she worked on this session. At the end of the session, like when she first came, it was a 0, as if I can't do this. This is feels too big for me. And then at the end, she was a 10. Get me out there. I'm doing this. I cannot wait to get out and show my work to the world. And she was like calling all her friends. Anyways, she changed again, like on a cellular level, internally, externally, mind, body, and even energetically. And started because she changed in all these ways, she started attracting these people into her life. No, kid you not, within 2 weeks, she was at an event or a friend's house. We were playing guitar, and this neighbor friend of hers was there who just happened to be a music producer, just happened to produce kids music, which is what she specializes in. That's just not no accident. And so they hit it off, of course. They record and they're like, let's record something. So she records this album. It was like I wasn't even like questioning myself. I just recorded it. It was perfect. It was beautiful. Girls, she launched that album within 2 days. She had 2,000 followers, 2,000 downloads, whatever, just like that quick. She had 0 following. Now that has grown. She has now released 6 albums. That was from one session of I Can't Do This to now she has 6 albums on Spotify, single mother, travels the world, and sustains herself on her music. It's crazy. So, anyways, my point is like it depends on what, and some people have a quick breakthrough like that. Some people have it's a little on your area that you work on, you will have a breakthrough, but some layers are deeper. So it could take people longer in an area that's really deep and like deeply rooted. So it varies, but for the most part, it's like really quick transformation.
Yeah. I'm still in shock. Like, I love that story so much. And it
Yeah.
reminds me of Matthew McConaughey. Have you heard of his story?
No.
He basically decided he was going to act after following his family's path all these years, being in law school, all that. And that night, he happened to meet the producer of the first movie that he happened to end up starring in,
Oh,
even though they just asked him to come. It's like that. Like when you are aligned and when you release whatever it is that is like holding you back, that's living as an active vibration in your body, then it's all green light go and the universe
yeah.
just lines you up and whoosh. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is powerful.
It is. So much of it is self-sabotage. It's these stories we just create in our head and the self-doubt and the negativity and waking up in the morning and just, there's no way that this can happen for me. Like it's just another day. Let me just get through it. And it's once you actually start getting like a little light inside of you, wait a second, I think something's shifting and actually that story isn't true. And any way by your work, any work, like any way you can get to that place of seeing that light, of knowing that you're just creating the story in your head that you want to create, and maybe because of issues that have gone up in your life, that you can actually shift that. And there's
Yeah.
just it is a blank canvas. What you can do is unimaginable.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that what you touched on of whether it's this or that. I do feel like there's so many ways. I don't think there's like just one way to get there. Like it's not just my way or just, but I think it's just trusting, listen, like being able to tune in and trust your heart and go with those breadcrumbs and
Yeah, like
trust that
what
being led and what you're being pulled to is, you know, where you're supposed to be and trusting that and being open. I feel like there's so many tools and things available to us now because I feel like as a species or as a collective, like we're just being more open to help and receiving.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about so much in the community is like everything, it's so overwhelming. And I'm always like, I'm the person, just tell me what to do. And that might not even work for me. That one thing might not work. I think it's a matter of, oh, wow, this sounds really interesting. Let me just try this out and go down this path. But we're just having a conversation with you. It's like someone, just one person might be like, this is what I need. And honoring that, and you'll feel the ping inside of your body. You'll feel your voice will say, yes, yes,
Yeah,
I need to
yeah,
experience that.
Yeah.
And on
Yeah.
that
It's either
note,
like a hell yes or hell no.
well, that's how life should be. It should be a hell yes or hell no. And it should, the minute you feel it energetically, that's your feeling. And you should go with that. Not hell yes. And then your mind kicks in is
With
maybe,
10
oh, I don't
excuses.
know.
Yeah.
That's too expensive. I can't do that. It's no, like things are effing shifting and you got to trust what's going on energetically in
Yeah, we
yourself.
don't get hell yeses every day. So if you get one like you did, wasn't that an ice cream shop where it was
Yeah.
like, let me go talk to this woman and find out? Like that
Yeah.
was a great
Yeah.
thing that you asked her, but you're like, she knows something that I need to know.
Yeah, it really was. That, and then even just with everything that I've learned, it was always like, I've got to learn how to do that. There was no question. There was no like, maybe should I? So I think that takes a lot of the overwhelm and trying to figure out, like when we get too much in our heads of, is this the right thing? Is it not the right thing? And sometimes if you're not getting a hell yes on something, it's just not the right time. And there, you have to trust that too. Timing is everything. Maybe it doesn't mean that it's not the right thing, but maybe it's just not the right thing right now.
Yeah.
So just listening to that's what I love about this work though, is it really helps center and ground into like our truth and our center. And it gets us out of the head and into the body and like listening to what am I being called to and
Mhm.
helps you listen, take action towards that.
So on that note, like how can people work with you or find you and how can you help everyone?
You can go to my website, kristenmaple.com, and then I have a course, which I think you guys are going to link below, that we do as a group, a bunch of like women creatives. It's mainly geared towards creatives or people who have something on their heart that they want to step into. Again, like what the experience on the beach, like something that you want to do that you feel resistance towards. We cover all of the things. So we cover the creative blocks, but then also we go deeper into our relationships and those kind of things because our external environment also has an impact on that as well. So being able to navigate it all together. And then events with you and all those things that you guys always have going on with Gals Off the Grid
In the membership, because you're one of
and the
our
membership. Yeah.
experts that
Yes.
people can come and do a master class with you because one class truly, what we say, it
Yeah.
can change your life.
So
Thinking of that
true.
story, man.
And then also our listeners will have a like a promo code regarding the oil, getting the oils
Yeah.
Yeah, I can send you a link to that. I don't know if I have a promo code
or
for it.
just a
Uh,
link so they can get a little, I guess they go through Gals Off the Grid community to get their oils. That's what it is.
oh yeah, so yes, so I can, yeah, and then you guys have a link for oils that, yeah, that you guys can send out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah. So they can get ones because frequency is everything. So if you're going to do something, you want to do it in a way that you're going to get the actual results. I have a whole, like right here by us, like a whole little box of all my oil collection, and I use them every day. And one of my favorite things about working with you is after a session, you help us create an affirmation and we anchor that energy. So we have what is the image? What's it
Image of
called?
strength
Image of
or
strength. I was like, I know there's an image of strength and an affirmation, and then you have an oil. So it's like in neurolinguistic programming, like you can anchor things into the mind. So when you do a certain thing, smell a certain thing, say a certain thing, it's, oh, yes, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. So that you even get transformation after the initial transformation. You can
yeah.
continue on with it.
It's like the work actually continues to work for years later. What you're doing is you are literally rewiring your mind. So what it does is it opens up, the work opens up a different neural pathway in your brain and it'll start this energy down that path. So almost like if you're riding a bike out in nature and like a rut that's formed in the beginning of a trail, there's not much there, but it starts it and then it just continues that loop and it gets deeper and stronger, but it continues for years after.
Good.
Amazing.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you for having me on. You're just
Oh, we're so
full
happy.
beautiful lights and what you're creating for people and what you've created for me and just this foundation of support and encouragement. Like you just have such pure hearts and love for people and growth and expansion. And it's just so thankful to
We are
have you.
just reflecting that back to you
Yeah.
because that is exactly who you are, and we love you
Yes.
that much back. And
And oh, I love doing the two questions. Just anything that comes off of my heart, I'm going to do one and you're going to do one.
oh,
So whatever we ask you, just like the first thing that comes out. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So, where are you? What is the most exciting thing that's coming up in your life?
Oh, Ireland.
Oh, my question was going to be, where are you? Where do you want to go next? Because I know you love to
Oh,
travel. And there you're going
well,
to.
where I want to go next after Ireland is I really want to go back to Europe. And I know you and I have talked about this, but I
Oh,
love Europe.
yes.
Cool place.
Hi, me too. Don't forget about me.
We're all going. It's
Yeah, we're
funny.
going.
I feel like a lot of these interviews are ending with us talking about where we're going to retreat next. There's a
Yes.
theme happening. I don't know if it's just me like wanting to affirm that and put that out there that we're creating it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have such incredible women. We want to all get together and
know.
share gifts. So thank you for being a part of all of it and
Yeah.
being a part of our growth, because without you, we wouldn't be where we are today. And so thank you for all the gifts that you share with the world and for just being so amazing as you are.
Thank you. Thank you both. I love you so much.
We love you.
Love fest over here. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Gals Off the Grid podcast. If this episode resonated with you, take a moment to breathe it in, ground yourself, and carry this wisdom into your daily life. Remember, true freedom begins when you reconnect with yourself, with nature, and with the community that lifts you higher.
If you loved this conversation, share it with a fellow high-frequency friend and leave us a review. It helps us reach more women ready to step into their power. And if you're craving deeper connection, join us inside of our offline community for so much more support and connection. You can find all the details at galsoffthegrid.com.
Until next time, stay grounded, stay aligned, and keep exploring your deeper truth. We'll see you off the grid.